The twin suns of Veros 4 bled light across a jagged landscape of rust-colored dunes and shattered ship hulls. Wind carried the smell of metal, fuel, and despair, the scent of a world stripped bare by war and scavengers. To most species, Veros was a graveyard. To him it was home. Jace Arden, the only human on the planet, trudged through the junk fields with a plasma cutter slung across his back and a stubborn glint in his eyes. His armor was patched, his boots mismatched, and his breath rasped through a cracked rebreather. Every step echoed the same thought: they mock what they don't understand. Behind him, laughter crackled through the cums. Careful, don't trip on your fragile bones. Try not to melt in the heat, mammal. The scavenger crew, a mix of reptilian Carnath, insectoid thrice, and feline Valkyrie, jeered as they sifted through the wreckage. To them, Jace was an oddity, a relic of a backwater species long dismissed as extinct, but Jace didn't care. He wasn't here for their approval. He was here for salvage. The scanners picked up something beneath the sand. Large, metallic, ancient. The Carnath foreman squinted at the readings. A battleship pre-Dominion era, worth a fortune. Then let's dig, Jace said. The other snorted. You'll tire first. Human, then I'll rest after I'm rich. They worked for hours until the dunes parted, revealing a titanic hull half buried in rust and crystallized salt. The ship's nameplate read faintly in a forgotten script: Aurelian Dawn. Even the aliens fell silent. The Aurelian, an extinct race of myth and power. Their technology was said to merge with thought itself. The Carnath foreman's greed broke the silence. We take what we can and leave the rest. But Jace's gaze lingered on the faint golden sigil etched into the hull, a star entwined with two wings. Something about it called to him. Inside the ship's hollow corridors, time had frozen. Dust floated like ghosts. Strange lights flickered when Jace passed, as if the ship itself was watching. He moved deeper while the others scavenged. That's when he heard it, a faint cry. Not mechanical, not wind alive. He followed the sound to a shattered containment bay. There, trapped under debris, was a Valkyrie woman, silver skin dulled by pain, her long tail crushed beneath fallen metal. Her breathing was ragged. One eye glowed faintly with bioluminescence. Please, she whispered in broken trade tongue. The others appeared behind him, weapons raised. Leave her, the Carnath growled. She's Dominion. Enemy. Jace knelt beside her. She's hurt. Good, the Carnath spat. Less competition. Let her die. Jace looked at the alien woman, beaten, forgotten, terrified. Something in her eyes reminded him of Earth's history, of every war, every exile, every underdog that refused to vanish quietly. He made his choice. If you don't want to help, he said, voice steady, then get out of my way. The alien sneered. You'd risk your life for a Dominion spy. Not a spy, Jace said, lifting the debris with a grunt. A person. He carried her back to his shuttle despite the protests. When the foreman threatened him, Jace turned plasma cutter in hand. Touch her, he said coldly, and I'll show you what humans invented before your species even learned to walk upright. They didn't laugh after that as he flew toward the horizon. The Aurelian dawn shimmered in the twilight, as if something ancient had just awakened hours later. In his workshop, a makeshift lab beneath a crashed frigate, Jace treated the woman's wounds. Her name was Karen Valkyrie. Once a Dominion scientist, she'd been left behind when the ship fell during an ancient conflict. You shouldn't have helped me, she said quietly. They'll come for you now. They already hate me, he replied, cleaning the burn across her shoulder. Might as well earn it. She studied him, curious, cautious. Humans are extinct, aren't they? Mostly, Jace said. Guess I didn't get the memo. Her eyes softened. Why save me? He looked at her for a long moment. Because someone has to do the right thing, even when no one else will. For a while, neither spoke. Only the hum of the generator filled the silence and the flicker of something new between them. Days passed. Karen helped repair the salvaged tech while regaining her strength. But strange energy pulses began to emanate from the Aurelian wreck miles away, visible even from Jace's camp. She frowned one evening. That ship, it's calling to you. Feels like it, Jace admitted. Like it knows I'm here. You shouldn't go back. Yeah, he said, staring at the distant light. But I will. Karen touched his arm gently. Why? Because I need to know why it called to me. The next dawn, Jace returned to the ship alone. The others were gone, their camps burned. He stepped through the same airlock, deeper this time. Following the pulse that throbbed like a heartbeat through the metal walls dotted the ship's heart. He found it, a sealed chamber, glowing gold. Inside floated a suit of armor, suspended in stasis. Beautiful, ancient, alive. As he stepped forward, the armor turned as if seeing him. The voice echoed in his mind. Child of forgotten fire, awaken the heart of dawn. The armor opened. Light engulfed him, and for the first time in 10,000 years, the Aurelian dawn breathed again. When the light faded, silence reclaimed the ship. Dust drifted through the air like frozen sparks. Jace staggered, his body humming with power. The armor, sleek obsidian, etched with golden veins, had merged with him. It wasn't metal anymore. It felt alive. Every movement responded to his thoughts, each breath syncing with its rhythmic pulse. He stared at his reflection in a cracked bulkhead, glowing amber eyes staring back. What the hell did I just do? He whispered that. Then the ship spoke. Neural sync established. Aurelian Protocol Alpha restored. The voice was neither male nor female. Divine. Echoing through his mind like a memory from before time. Identify yourself, Jace said. Designation, heir of Earth. Host detected. Integrity. Stable. Welcome, human. The words hit him harder than plasma fire. He tried to disconnect, to tear the gauntlets off, but they refused. Instead, they pulsed warmly against his skin, as if reassuring him. Then came another sound, a low, distant rumble. Engines. Outside, Karen waited near the shuttle, scanning the horizon nervously. Her tail twitched with unease when Jace emerged from the wreck, glowing faintly in the fading sun, her breath caught by the stars. She whispered, Jace, what have you done? I don't know, he admitted, but I think it chose me. Before she could answer, streaks of light appeared in the sky, dropships descending fast. Emblazoned with the black insignia of the Dominion, Karen's face went pale. They found us. Who are they? My people, she said bitterly. Or what's left of them. Dominion troops landed, weapons drawn, exosuits gleaming. Their commander, a towering reptilian hybrid named Admiral Varith, stepped forward, his voice amplified through his helm. Surrender the relic of the Aurelian Empire. It belongs to the Dominion. Jace stepped in front of Karen, fists tightening. Funny, he said. It didn't seem to think so. Varith's mandibles clicked in irritation. Human, you meddle in forces beyond your comprehension. Yeah, Jace replied. We're good at that. The Admiral raised a clawed hand and the air filled with blinding light as plasma fire rained down. Instinct took over. Jace raised his arm and the armor moved. A radiant barrier of golden energy flared around him, deflecting the incoming bolts. Every shot absorbed into the armor, fueling it, amplifying it. His HUD came alive with symbols, alien runes translating into commands. Energy conversion. 82%. Counter-strike enabled. He slammed his fist into the ground. A shockwave erupted outward, tossing soldiers like leaves. Karen ducked behind a rock, awe and terror mingling on her face. Jay, what are you learning? He said, his voice resonating with the armor's power. In a blur of motion, he charged forward, energy flaring behind each step, cutting through the Dominion line like lightning incarnate. When the smoke cleared, only Varith remained, snarling beneath his fractured armor. You have no idea what you've unleashed, the Admiral hissed. Guess I'll find out, Jace said, and the next blast sent the warlord flying. Varith retreated, signaling his troops. Their ships lifted, vanishing into the clouds. But Jace didn't celebrate. His breathing was ragged. The armor dimmed, then flared again, feeding off his pulse. Karen rushed to him, eyes wide. You just fought off a Dominion platoon with your bare hands. Yeah, he muttered. That's starting to worry me. That night, as they hid among the dunes, the armor whispered in his mind, visions of the past flickering behind his eyes. He saw ancient battles, humans in radiant armor fighting beside Valkyrie warriors against a darkness that devoured stars. He saw worlds burned and rebuilt, and a promise, a pact made in light. When he awoke, Karen sat beside him, her face softened by the twin moon's glow. I saw them, he said quietly, humans and your kind, together, fighting something huge. The Void War, she murmured. It was before the Dominion. Before the Valkyrie fell. The Aurelian armor was created to fight the darkness. It chose heroes, not rulers, so why me? Maybe because you're the last one who still believes in something. Their eyes met, and for a heartbeat, the universe felt smaller. Just two souls, bound by fate and light. If they're coming again, Jace said, we'll need to stop them. Then we'll do it together, Karen replied. Human and Valkyrie as it was before. He smiled. Sounds like history is repeating itself. Later, Karen led him through an ancient ruin hidden beneath the dunes, a temple once used by her ancestors to link minds. She lit crystalline torches along the walls, their glow shimmering across intricate carvings of human and alien figures joined by threads of light. If the armor chose you, she said, you must learn to control it. This ritual will connect us mind to mind. You'll see through my memories, and I through yours. You sure that's safe? No, she said with a faint smile, but neither are you. They stood facing each other as energy gathered between their palms. The air vibrated, light threaded from her fingertips to his chestplate, weaving their thoughts together. In an instant, Jace felt her pain, her loneliness, her hope. He saw her as a child, watching her homeworld burn, and she saw him, Earth's blue oceans, its wars, its music, its stubborn will to rise again. Their minds intertwined like fire and shadow. Now you understand, Karen whispered through the link. Yeah, he breathed. You're not so different from us. The bond pulsed once, sealing something deeper than either expected. But in the shadows beyond the temple walls, Dominion scouts watched, transmitting coordinates to Admiral Var's single quotes ETH that the next hunt had begun. The storm of plasma fire raged across the wreckage-strewn valley. Kale sprinted through it, a lone human shadow against a burning alien sky, dragging the wounded alien princess, Soraya, toward the cover of a jagged hull plate. The air shimmered with radiation. Their breath came out as glowing mist. Behind them, The armored enforcers of the Xhaka Empire advanced in tight formation, their black exosuits clicking, their visors reflecting the light of the dying sun. Kale fired his plasma rifle one last time. The charge wind and died. The weapon overheated in his hands. Out of juice, he muttered. Figures. Soraya slumped beside him, her blue skin pale, her bioluminescent veins dim. She pressed a trembling hand to her chest. Leave me. Human, you've done enough. They'll kill you if you stay. Kale shook his head. Not my style, sweetheart. He looked around. The ruined valley was littered with broken spacecraft. And then, through the storm, his eyes caught something massive, buried beneath centuries of sand and rusted metal. A colossal ship, half submerged. Its silhouette was wrong, not of any known civilization. And deep in his gut, Kale felt something call to him. They made their way to the forgotten hulk, slipping through gaps in the hull that pulsed faintly like veins. Strange whispers echoed through the corridors, not mechanical but living. Soraya, Kale said quietly, "What the hell is this place?" She looked around, awestruck. "I've only heard legends, they say. Before the Empire, before the first colonies, there was a race called the Four. Their ships were grown alive, conscious. They vanished eons ago." Kale brushed away a layer of dust, revealing alien runes that shimmered faintly when he touched them. The ship responded. A low hum rippled through the deck. Lights flickered on. One by one, like a heartbeat returning after centuries, a deep voice spoke inside his mind. Human pattern detected, compatible, awaiting bearer of the heartsteel. Soraya gasped. Heartsteel. That's their word for divine armor. Kale frowned. Armor, what? Like the floor beneath them opened. A pod rose slowly, bathed in white light. Inside was a suit of armor, sleek, black as the void, and thrumming with ancient power. It wasn't metal. It was alive. Kale stepped closer, entranced. Guess this is the part where I get chosen, huh? The voice answered again, not in sound, but through sensation. Chosen. No, remembered. The armor uncoiled, wrapping around him like liquid light. He gasped as the systems interfaced with his body, his mind, his heartbeat syncing with the ship's. Soraya fell to her knees, eyes wide. Kale, your aura, it's changing. His voice deepened, layered with echo. Feels like coming home. Outside, the Xhaka dreadnought descended through the storm. Admiral Vareth himself, the Butcher of 12 Worlds, had arrived. His fleet blotted out the sun. Vareth sneered as his scanners detected a power surge from the planet below. So the human has found the relic. Good, we'll take it from his corpse. His forces deployed thousands of drones, walking tanks, airstrike wings. Inside the ship, Kale stood at the heart of the ancient command chamber, his armor glowing brighter with every pulse. He turned to Soraya. Can you link with the ship? He asked. Thought she hesitated. Not without something stronger. A psychic bond. Kale smirked. Then let's make one. She blinked. You mean yeah, he said, stepping closer. Mind link. I've read about your rituals. Show me. They knelt facing each other. Soraya placed her hands over his chest plate, her fingers trembling. Energy rippled between them, light and shadow weaving together. Her voice was soft. Our kind share memory through touch. You may see things not meant for human eyes. Kale grinned faintly. I've seen worse. When their foreheads touched, reality shattered. He saw her childhood under imperial slavery, her mother's death, her exile, her loneliness. She saw his pain, the burning cities of Earth, the loss of his squad, the hollow ache of surviving when others didn't. And then their souls aligned. The ship responded, glowing brighter. The armor pulsed, feeding on their shared will. Two hearts, one signal. The ship awoke. The ground split open. The ancient vessel rose from its tomb, shedding centuries of sand and corrosion. Kale stood on the bridge, eyes blazing through his visor. Vareth's voice thundered through the comms. Human, you play with relics you cannot comprehend. Kale smirked. Buddy, you're right about one thing. He raised his hand. The ship's weapons mirrored the motion. I don't comprehend. I improvise. And then he fired. The blast that erupted from the ship wasn't energy, it was willpower. An explosion of light tore through the Empire's fleet. Drones disintegrated. Warships split apart. Vareth screamed orders, but it was too late. Kale and Soraya moved as one, his mind controlling the armor, hers guiding the ship's psychic systems. Together, they danced between enemy fire, unleashing fury. Soraya whispered, tears streaming down her face. This is what freedom feels like. Kale smiled inside the helmet. Then let's make it last. The wreckage of the Xhaka armada burned across the night sky like dying stars. Kale stood on the bridge of the awakened Forgeborn ship, his armor pulsing with molten light, the heartsteel now fully alive, breathing with him. Beside him, Soraya floated in a trance, her eyes glowing white as the ship's core sang through her. Together they had annihilated fleets, but now the final shadow approached. The flagship descended, a mountain of black steel, shaped like a claw gripping the void. At its heart stood Admiral Vareth, the tyrant who had enslaved her people, the Butcher of 10 Worlds, and the monster who once ordered Soraya's family executed for defiance. His voice thundered across the channel. You think a relic makes you a god? Human, I am the law of this galaxy. Kale smirked. Then it's time. The galaxy fired its lawyer. The two ships collided above the scarred moon's surface, energy waves rippling across the wasteland below. Kale's mind linked fully with the Forgeborn ship, the heartsteel amplifying his every thought. Soraya's psychic aura merged with his, a swirling storm of blue and gold. She whispered through their link, "Kale, he's too powerful. His dreadnought draws power from the life force of the enslaved of souls." Kale clenched his fists. "Then, let's set them free." He charged the main cannon. A pulse of living plasma thrummed through the ship, but the dreadnought fired first. The blast hit like a god's hammer. The Forgeborn ship screamed alive, hurting. Kale fell to his knees. Sparks cascaded from the control pillars. Soraya staggered beside him, blood streaking her lips. "Khalif, we merge deeper. We can heal it," she gasped. "But our minds may never separate again." He looked at her, the alien woman who had once been just another stranger on a hostile world. Now, she was everything. He smiled. "Then let's finish this together." They pressed their hands against the ship's core, a sphere of living light, pulsing with ancient memory. The ship responded, tentacles of luminescent energy wrapped around them, fusing armor, flesh, and soul. Kale's human heart synced with Soraya's psychic pulse. Their thoughts became one language, their love one power. The ship roared to life, its structure reshaping, growing wings of energy like a phoenix reborn. Vareth's dreadnought fired again. Kale roared, the heartsteel glowing white hot for Earth, for Soraya, for every free soul. The counterblast erupted not from weapons, but from their unified will. A wave of light swept across the battlefield, turning metal to dust, darkness to dawn. Vareth's flagship shattered, its soul core imploding in silence. When the light faded, the galaxy was quiet. Days later, the survivors gathered on the liberated moon. The enslaved alien races looked up at the sky, where two silhouettes descended from the light. Kale and Soraya, their bodies, now partly fused with the heartsteel's living essence, stepped from the ship. The armor was gone, replaced by soft, radiant lines etched into their skin. A child, one of the freed alien younglings, approached them, clutching a flower grown from ash. "Are you the gods from the sky?" Kale smiled. "Kneeling, no kid. Just people who got tired of being told what they couldn't do." Soraya knelt beside him, wrapping her arm around his. Her voice trembled with warmth. "This world will need builders, not conquerors. Let's make something new, Kale." He looked at her, the woman who had once been a symbol of alien royalty, now his partner, his equal, his anchor. He whispered, "You mean home?" She smiled softly. "Yes, home." Years passed. The heartsteel accord spread across star systems, humans and aliens, rebuilding side by side. Children with both human resilience and alien empathy played under twin suns. And on the rebuilt Forgeborn ship, now called the Heart of Dawn, Kale and Soraya stood together, watching the horizon. Their adopted daughter, a small, bright-eyed hybrid, ran across the deck laughing. Soraya turned to him. "You gave me back my legs, my freedom, my hope, and now, look at us." Kale wrapped an arm around her waist. "You gave me something, too, a reason to fight that wasn't just survival." The stars flared as if bowing to them. Saraya smiled, her eyes glowing with warmth. "Maybe that's what your kind always had. What made you special?" Kale raised a brow. "What's that?" "The fire that refuses to die even in the cold of space." He kissed her forehead gently. "Then let's keep it burning."